The all-new Honda Pilot is here. This is a 23 Touring in crystal black pearl with black leather interior from Ocean Honda. This has been reworked with the suspension. You have more aesthetics. It's a wider fascia. Still the same ground clearance that's over 7 inches. Trail Sport takes you to nearly 9 inches, which is right at Jeep territory. It's boxy, a little bit more elegant, kind of like the Ridgeline in the front, just with a better grille proportion. It's larger with the gloss black. The chrome treatment wraps around the whole front and it goes into the headlamp assembly, nearly giving a 2-part setup. LED headlamps and daytime runnings. On the lower, chrome boomerang look for your side curtain. LED tail lamps are going to polish that off with the satin aluminum that's going to be in the center, and you get some functionality in the center of the lower mesh grille. The way the Pilot sets up, it's just more dominant. The only thing that I kind of wish they would have changed a bit is they do the matte black pretty much all over. It's going to start here on the lower fender and it attaches to the front bumper and it wraps underneath the skirt with the satin aluminum over the top. Upgraded wheels because we're in the Touring. Each trim will have a different size tire and a different design. 20-inch 7-spoke alloy wheels. The brakes has increased to over 1 inch more, which is kind of a big deal because this thing is also nearly 11 inches longer than the prior gen, right at 199 inches long. Chrome is going to surround the lower window seal. The boomerang comes into the back, keeping a traditional SUV style with the rear window. I think they've captured the moment here. They have enough lines and enough aesthetics to give that rugged look, and yet it's still a Pilot, so it's an everyday truck. You don't have to sacrifice for ride quality. The roof rails increased the weight to nearly 200 pounds. Reworked LED tail lamps. Still a V6, 285 horsepower, 265 pound-feet of torque, no more 9-speed automatic transmission. The second gen 10-speed automatic transmission is implemented, which is good because sometimes we worry they're going to throw a CVT in everything. They don't do it in this variant. However, for pretty much everything else, unless you do an SI or you do a Type R, you're going to have to option a CVT. 5,000 pounds of towing has not increased. This is all-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive, 3,500 pounds. On the lower, fake exhaust outlets. The exhaust is tucked underneath. I like the rugged performance look, but give me some exhaust if you're going to put it out there. And all the brands are doing it. Whether you go into Nissan, Infiniti, Acura, they're all doing this. I just don't like it personally. Reverse parking sensors, the satin aluminum in the center, and a reverse camera. Pilot badging over the gloss black. So it sits up a little bit more dominant with the Honda badging. Same similar look as the CR-V and HR-V, the way they have it structured. The gloss black is going to go underneath the lower roof spoiler with the shark fin antenna and the door handles, the same color as the body. 5 more horsepower than the prior gen. Let's go inside, start it up, so you can hear that exhaust though. Entering inside the all-new Honda Pilot, it's not that high up off the ground. So running boards, unless you're doing the Trail Sport, which will make it right near 9 inches, maybe I'd recommend it there. 40.5 inches of headroom, 41 inches of legroom, 10-way power seat adjustment, heated front seats, 4-way power seat adjustment for the passenger, memory for the driver. The reworked dash gets storage right in front of the passenger, gloss black around the air vent, and in the center vents it's going to be more of the matte black, but I like how they put everything together because it's very seamless, especially with this storage pocket. The dashboard is going to be more flat. This is a 9-inch touch screen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM streaming, Bluetooth audio with the Bose premium sound system. The gloss black comes into the driver's side with a leather-wrapped 3-spoke steering wheel. It's multi-function with the paddle shifters, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, 10.2 digital gauge cluster, which has an array of information for the driver for maintenance, safety, and all those good things. You can also change the gauge display settings here, which I would leave it on the all-wheel drive torque. I kind of like seeing that on my gauge cluster. Going into tri-climate control settings, all derived in the front on the 9-inch touchscreen. One nice thing that we do have besides Honda Link is the cabin talk. Click into here, you don't have to yell. This car is almost 200 inches now. So when you click onto the microphone, this will go into the speakers in the back so everybody can hear you. You have Wi-Fi hotspot, Amazon Alexa. Going into a storage pocket right here with a USB A and C and a 12 volt. Wireless charging pad. This is a faster QI charger than the prior gen and a lot of storage right here that you can throw multiple key fobs. Here is the new key fob for the Honda Pilot Touring. Gloss black comes into the center, your driver mode select, and we have a ton of them. So we're going to start off with Sport, Normal, Eco, Snow, Trail, Sand, Tow. Total of 7 different driving modes. Huge area here for armrest and just to relax, or you can even use this to do your homework if you're in the passenger side. Open up inside, it's deep. You have a pin holder, makes it easier. This is pretty much like a desk. The dashboard does not go into the door panel. There's a bit of an opening. Open up, you get the gloss black, the satin aluminum, everyday materials here. Pretty much the same thing here, but it's a little bit more soft. The soft touching is right here. One touch up and down for all the windows. 2 storage tiers. 1 beverage or bottle holder in the front, and another little small one that you could put maybe some Tic Tacs. I threw my phone here. It made it pretty easy for me, and you could throw in a little magazine on the bottom. A total of 18 cup and bottle holders throughout the cabin. A large panel moonroof that you open up and operate here that goes into the second row. But there is no panel for the third row. For the second row, 40.2 inches of headroom, 40.8 inches of legroom, 4-seat manual adjustment, third climate control in the back, 2 USB-C ports, your air vents in the center, and storage. You have a pocket right here for a smaller to larger phone, and you have a huge pocket here that you can put all of your homework. Soft pretty much behind the back of the front seats. Slide it up. Now I have absolutely no room. Slide it back, and I have so much room. There's also a little bit of a wall right here that you pretty much will kick if you have a shoe size similar to mine. The floor is completely flat. The door panel gets your manual sun shades. Everyday material pretty much everywhere. Gloss black, satin aluminum. It's going to be kind of soft for your elbows. 2 storage tiers, a bottle beverage holder here, and another little storage nook with a smaller pocket in the bottom. It is going to be a little bit smaller than the storage in the last gen. So sliding over into the center, it's not going to be too much of an issue for space between the occupants because of the way the seats are designed. Each seat has a sufficient amount of room for each occupant. Fold this down, it's not just a cup holder. You can also remove it. When you pull this tab here, lift it up, and now you have free captain seats. But the best part is when we completely remove it, we not only have the pass-through, but you have more space for the third row occupants. Now where are we gonna put this? Well, Honda's thought about that too. Well, underneath here, this is your carpet. You can flip this around, and this is for wet objects, which is the same thing as Acura, which is awesome that they're finally doing it in this vehicle. You got the kids' gear, you just came from the beach. Everything now is waterproof. You just clean it off. Same thing on the sides here. But what I was telling you about that center seat, take this out. Put the center seat right in here. And now you don't have to worry about leaving it at home in the garage. It stores inside the vehicle with 18.6 cubic feet of storage behind the third row. To fold these down, simple. Very easy. Once you get the hang of it, you get the hang of it. That increases the cargo to 59.9 cubic feet. And since we're back here, the third row gets air vents, USB on both sides, 2 cup or bottle holders. And you can see those little nooks that I was talking about with a 12 volt. Split fold the second row captain seats, or 3 seats, however you want to do it. That's going to increase the cargo to over 104 cubic feet of storage. It's a wide opening. It does sit up a little bit more so than the prior gen. So you have about 3 feet of clearance. You cannot lower the suspension, but a kick to open and power lift gate. It takes a few seconds to lower. Getting into the third row, simple by one push of a button, slides in, and you have a pretty decent amount of room. I can not necessarily crawl in, I can actually walk in, put this back, 39.3 inches of headroom, 32.5 inches of legroom. And what I was saying with that center out, I can stretch it here, or if I sit into the center, I can really relax for a long journey. And I'm not going to be sharing any feet space or leg space, but butt and shoulder, yes. And there's this hump right here, so it does make it a little bit more tighter for feet space, fitting 3 occupants in the rear. 285 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque, increase of 5 horsepower from the prior gen. If you drive it in normal, you will feel the weight though. This is nearly 200 inches, so almost 11 inches longer than the prior gen. Visibility is still good. You sit up with the same clearance. The engine, you can hear it a little bit more so. I would say the sound deadening though is a lot better than the prior gen, and it also feels more airy in the interior, especially if you are comparing this to any of the competition, whether it's Kia, Jeep, Hyundai, Toyota. This is something that is a little bit more practical inside. 18 cup or bottle holders throughout. I mean, there's not a lot of companies that tell you how much storage you get. Over 100 cubic feet of storage, which is an increase for cargo capacity over the prior gen. So I do like that too, because I used to own a restaurant, and if I needed to pick up goodies, I could do so with this. And the towing still is at 5,000 pounds. That I wish increased to 6,000. That's for the all-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive at 3,500 pounds, so maybe you could tow a jet ski. In sport mode, we're gonna give her a go. It has such an aggressive note that even the person outside was like, oh my God, is he gonna kill me? That's so loud. But I wasn't even going that fast. There's a lot of gears. So that also changes the way the driving dynamic is. Last year was 9-speed, this year 10-speed. I kind of like the 10-speed because you're gonna get a little bit better MPGs. That's gonna take me to some things I like and dislike, and starting off with is what I like. Not only you can move that center seat in the second row, you can store it in the cargo, or if you don't want to do so, you can just fold the seats flat and have over 100 cubic feet of storage. Plus you have all that storage underneath. But before we get to a second thing, we're going to try to straighten her out a little bit so you can really see her streamline. It's fast enough. I mean, 5 extra horsepower, is it gonna do a lot? Not really, because this also increased in weight and length. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is they didn't go Civic, CRV, HRV, and Accord. The actual dash layout, they didn't put those vents in the center. So it distinguishes this from those vehicles, because every single vehicle that Honda has redesigned puts the mesh grille for the air vents. I like it, don't get me wrong. It just, I would rather have the storage, especially if I was in the new Accord. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is the retuned suspension feels a lot more smoother. These are bigger wheels, and typically you will feel imperfections in the road. Here, you're just gonna kind of glide over it. It's just a smooth drive overall. 3 things that I dislike is how all of the new Hondas do this. They put this touchscreen and it just comes out of the dash. Here, if they integrated it where the air vents are, and maybe put the air vents up here, it would look a little bit more seamless, and you can still have that storage for the passenger side or the mesh grille for all of the other refreshed Hondas. We have larger brakes than the prior gen. It's about 1.5 inches bigger. Let's see how much braking we get. It's not as airtight, but it's not bad either. turn radius, and more or less the stop point is going to get about 2 lanes, which is quite good for something that's nearly 200 inches. The second thing that I dislike is in every row they've picked these seats up kind of like older Land Rovers and then put the track on them. In doing that, they make these barricades for your feet for the second and third row, in which the third row you don't even hardly have feet space. You have to kind of sit like this in order to fit both feet. Taking me to the last thing that I dislike. They reworked the suspension, they reworked the transmission, they reworked the engine. We didn't get any increase of durability in the sense of towing and payload. Going to any of the comparison, the interior floor plan of this is going to be more open, versatile, and anyone that's over 6 foot in each row can fit, which is not going to be the case in a lot of the variants. Yeah, it has a smaller infotainment screen. When you go to the Elite, you'll get the 6-inch heads-up display. So it does push you to get higher trims because you can't option these features, but at least we get the Bose sound system, which is one of the best in class, by the way. Harder materials are going to be more on the top area, but pretty much everywhere else is going to be soft arrived. I'd like to thank Ocean Honda for giving us this 2023 Honda Pilot Touring for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, I don't know what you're waiting for. Click the next video and the subscribe button, check out the merchandise website, Instagram, leave a comment and a like.